Big news is coming from Munich as the Bavarian automaker has just revealed the new generation of its most popular SUV. The all-new 2025 BMW X3 is here, with a bold design, cutting-edge technology, and all the necessary ingredients to retain its excellent position on the market. Stay with us as we take a close look at BMW's latest addition to the lineup. But before we start, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and enjoy the latest car reviews. When a time for redesign comes, the biggest moneymakers get the most attention. That's always the case, so no one believed things would be any different in the case of BMW's most popular SUV. The X3 comes completely new, and the idea was to offer something new but preserve all the good stuff, things that made it a bestseller. So we may presume that this redesign was a little bit tricky to execute. Key German rivals, especially Audi, would probably play it safe and focus on subtle changes. The Bavarian automaker decided on a slightly more radical approach. So it introduces a completely new design language, even though the DNA remains largely the same. The most prominent change, of course, is the new front end, which stands out with a pair of new headlights, a sharper and more aggressive bumper design with larger air intakes, and, most importantly, a new iteration of the famous kidney grille. Of course, it's been reshaped and resized, while the inner design also brings interesting novelties. Base models bring a mix of vertical and diagonal slats in an attractive black trim surrounded by an optional LED light-up. The same LED illumination is part of the standard equipment if you choose the performance-oriented M50, which also stands out with a different grille design, horizontal slats, and many other unique details. And if you noticed, we say M50 because there's a new naming strategy. For the same reasons, the base model is now just called 30, while the I suffix is now reserved for all electric models, which are taking more and more space in BMW's lineup. From the side, you'll notice that things are once again quite minimalistic, though the new model does look a little bit sleeker, which may be because the new generation loses 1 inch in overall height. Of course, as you'd expect from a new generation, there's a whole new lineup of wheel options ranging from 19 to 21 inches, along with a couple of brand new color options. One of them is called Dune Gray, a finish BMW used to present the latest M50i. Finally, a quick look from the back, where you can easily notice the new shape of the headlights. Badges aside, this is also the area that allows us to differentiate base from M-badged models, considering that the latter comes with quad exhaust pipes, while the former hides pipes behind the rear bumper. The 2025 BMW X3 may feature a completely new look, but things are not completely new under the skin. There, just like in the case of other automakers, we're seeing an evolution of a familiar setup, mostly because of the lack of resources for a more thorough development, considering that R&D teams are mostly focused on electrification these days. But don't worry, this doesn't mean anything bad. We're still talking about the familiar car platform, the one that has always been famous for ensuring excellent driving experience. With further updates and improvements, it can only get better. After all, the company claims it weighs less now, but features better structural rigidity at the same time, which could have nothing but a highly positive impact on handling and overall driving experience. Along with the same platform, the wheelbase also remains the same, around 112.8 inches. However, the new model is slightly longer and wider than the previous iteration, but also lower, as we've mentioned a few moments ago. The officials claim various benefits from increased rigidity and wider rear track, but upgrades don't end there. The new 2025 BMW X3 also comes with changes to the front and rear axles, with the goal of increasing precision in corners and stability in a straight line at the same time. Of course, there's the company's dynamic damper control system, optional in base trims, which includes adaptive dampers and more flexibility. For those looking for uncompromised driving abilities, M-badged models come with a full load of upgrades, as you'd expect from BMW's performance division. For example, sport steering and bigger brakes are there, along with the adaptive M Sport suspension and the M Sport differential. With the same platform and overall design, it was kinda natural to expect the same powertrain lineup, though with some upgrades. Therefore, base models once again come with a 2-liter Turbo 4 that gets a slight power and torque upgrade. In numbers, that would be an addition of 7 horsepower and 37 pound-feet, which doesn't seem like much, but should have a notable impact on the overall driving dynamics. In total, that would be 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. But the revisions made to the engine are much bigger than the figures would suggest. There's a new ignition system and new injection system, along with an upgraded turbocharger and intercooler. Moreover, the powertrain also features a 48-volt mild hybrid system, which altogether contributes to 0 to 60 that's actually the same as in the previous generation and goes around 6 seconds. The M-badged model, the X3 M50, also comes with full load upgrades. The well-known 3-liter inline-6 also gets a mild hybrid setup, while Bavarian engineers also upgraded the exhaust gas routing, camshaft timing, and oil supply. As a result, the output went up to 393 horsepower and 428 pound-feet of torque. Compared to the previous generation, that's 9 horsepower and 59 pound-feet more, but once again, it's enough only for the same level performance of the previous model, considering that 0 to 60 is, once again, at around 4.4 seconds. The next aspect of the 2025 BMW X3 to talk about is, of course, the interior. And changes are actually pretty radical, much bigger than compared to what we've seen on the outside. Just one look and it's easy to see a massive departure from the previous generation. This time, it's all about minimalism, which is complemented by futuristic aesthetics and sharp lines with contrasting lighting elements. Altogether, it's easy to notice that futuristic flavor, especially if we take hidden air vents into account. Of course, the biggest star of the dashboard design is the massive curved panel, designed in, we could already say, typical BMW fashion. It integrates instrument cluster and infotainment screens and deletes all physical controls on the center stack. A few of them can still be found on the center console, but a more traditional gear shifter is definitely gone. The steering wheel is also new, and it's also worth mentioning that the instrument panel is now made from recycled polyester according to the officials. As you'd expect in these techie times, the new generation also brings significant improvements in terms of safety and technology in general. We already mentioned the curved screen, which runs the company's latest iDrive 9 software improved in every way. Another thing worth mentioning is that the new generation X3 is now compatible with the Air console system, which allows you to play video games when a car is in standstill position. Furthermore, you can use the DTS Auto Stage video service for streaming, while BMW's voice assistant got better too. As for safety features, there's a new parking assistant system, which is more capable than ever. The new version can direct the car to make all kinds of maneuvers from the outside. Also, while you're below 40 miles per hour, the traffic jam assistant can engage in hands-free driving. Finally, the navigation system has been upgraded with augmented reality, which provides easier guidance. We already know that the Bavarian automaker is preparing a completely new, all-electric version of the X3, which will be based on a different platform. But in times when electrification is slowing down and hybrids are on a swing, many wonder if BMW is about to bring a plug-in hybrid version to North America. So far, the so-called xDrive 30e hasn't been confirmed for this part of the world, but we presume that if it arrives someday, it would feature the same specs as the version that's sold in Europe and some other markets. That model features a system based on a 2.0-liter Turbo 4 engine, backed up with a massive battery pack and electric motor that raises the maximum output up to 299 horsepower. That's plenty enough to hit 60 in just 6.2 seconds, while the max range is estimated at around 50 to 55 miles. Just like the rest of the lineup, all-wheel drive would be standard, while the power would be sent through the well-known and proven 8-speed automatic gearbox from ZF. The popular compact SUV just had a global premiere, and it is expected to hit the market in the following months. As for the US market, we'll have to wait a little bit more, considering that the launch is planned for the last quarter of 2024. Even though the launch is still months away, the Bavarian automaker already came up with pricing, so we know that the base X330 will start at $50,675. We also know that the M50 will be available at $65,275, which represents a $3,500 increase over the previous generation M50i. What do you think of the new 2025 BMW X3? Do you like the new design, and would you like to see a plug-in hybrid version in North America? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.